Hello, this is Snow White with my Bigfoot Diary, part 21. And this covers February 2017. February 3rd, we stopped down by the lake to check for footprints on our way home. They were older, so it was a little hard to tell, but I think there were some tracks and a trackway that looked like they were from Bigfoot. So here's what I saw. They do go in a straight line, and they were pretty big, and the distance in between was pretty big too. Here's one with an open clamshell in it. This one was pretty big, shape of a foot. And another one, be a right foot. These were on the other side of the lake and it was really wet, so it had ice in it. And February 5th, I had put a new little monkey toy out on about January 22nd. I found it moved a lot and knocked off the railing, but today I couldn't find it anywhere, so I think they took it. Here's what it looked like. It's actually like a toy for children. It's a finger. You put it on your finger. February 7th. I went into town at around 9 p.m. Jim was home by himself. Now, this doesn't usually happen. I don't go away at night without him, hardly ever. But as I was leaving, I thought it felt really squatchy out there as I was pulling out of the garage. And then about 15 minutes later, when I got to where I was going, Jim texted me and said that something just hit the roof above our bedroom really loud. So he was really creeped out and he wanted me to hurry up and get home. When I got home, about an hour later, I looked out at the back porch and I found another tool laying there on the banister. So I think they brought it while I was gone and banged on the house to let Jim know it was there. We are not sure if this is a new tool that they're gifting to us or if it is one that they are returning from November 11th when they were in the garage and they dropped a bunch of tools as they left. So that's my crazy Bigfoot. So here's the wrench that they brought. Probably banged on the house to let him know it was there. And then I found some possible footprints beside the house in the bedroom where I think they were banging on the house. This is right outside our bedroom window. There were 3 pressed down spots, and they all measured 14 inches. So I think it was the same individual. And I mean, you can't see him good in the picture, but I could see him good there. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened. February 13th. We found one of our lights at the front of the house laying out in the yard about a foot or two from where it's supposed to be. So most likely it was taken out like the one in the backyard. The green circle shows where it's supposed to be. February 14th. Yesterday I had put a new little screwdriver out on the board, and this morning it was moved. I was surprised they didn't take it, and I'm pretty sure it was them that moved it because of what happened over at the railing. So here's the screwdriver. It was moved back on the board. And then on the railing, see at the top I had them lined up with 5s at top, and now you got the 6. The one on the end is turned to the 6, and they're all turned over and messed up. And also, the one domino, the number 3, was tipped up. I don't even know how they did that, and it stayed that way, as you can see in the bottom right picture. They also moved the game pieces. They took the blue one that was down at the point of the triangle, put it clear up to the top right, moved one of the green ones out past it, and then they took one and put it clear over on the other side of the dominoes. So I don't know what that was all about. So February 15th was interesting. first, there was a lot happening with the dice, and this went on all day. So it started out at 8:03 a.m. You can see the dice were just slightly moved, especially the red one. As the day progressed, I would check the porch to find the dice moved and turned over. Now it was a little bit windy, so I wasn't sure what was going on. And it also seemed like it was possible that the Bigfoot were messing around like they do sometimes. Like they keep running up and changing things. Still not sure, but it seems like some of the things happening wouldn't really have been caused by the wind. So here is the progression as the day went on. The top picture was at 8:09. I rearranged them like that. And then at 9:39, the two end dice are moved, but the red one is turned to the 6. Now, I don't think the wind did that. Now, also, the number 1 domino was moved just a little bit, and the wind never moves them, so, because they're heavier than the dice. So I straightened them back up at 9:40, and then at 11:52, I found the dice messed up again, and just the girl doll was on the ground. So if it was just the girl doll from the dolls that was on the ground, so if the wind blew it, then why didn't it blow the other dolls either? I mean, they were not moved at all. And the little deer was on the ground, but it's light and it's not hard for the wind to blow it, so I just discounted it. Now, I believe there were a few more incidents as the day went on, but I just quit keeping track since there's no way to know for sure what was going on. And then over at the woodpile, I put out a monkey cup with a little screwdriver yesterday. Now, this morning I found it upside down on the ground in front of the woodpile, and the screwdriver was taken out of that board, and I put it in the crack, and it was laying in front of the board. So I'm assuming they didn't like that cup. I'm telling this a little out of order so that I could show what happened with the dice all day long. But this next part happened this morning first thing, and it was before I straightened the dolls back up and the girl doll was found on the ground. So what happened this morning, first thing, was the most interesting thing that happened today, and it was the first thing I noticed when I went out to the porch. They had taken the newer little Bigfoot doll and they placed it behind the girl doll and the older Bigfoot doll. So here's a picture of that. See, it's way back behind, even like past the railing. So that's interesting. And as I was putting this video together, I realized that this happened back in December with the other Bigfoot doll too. So here's what happened then. The top picture is December 24th, and the bottom picture was February 15th. And that can't be a coincidence. The similarities are just too much. And it's occurred to me lately that it seems like there may be a little bit of a tug of war going on between two of the Bigfoot about who is friends with the girl, and that the man doll shouldn't really be included in this little group. Hence all the repositioning of the dolls. Now I'm not sure, but it's starting to seem that way. Another possibility could be that whichever one comes up, that he or she places its doll representative in the prominent position to show that it was he or she that was up. So, I'm not sure. So on February 16th, I had left the dice lined up last night, and this morning I found them moved with the one turned over and turned to the 2. February 18th, there was a lot happened on the porch. First of all, I noticed that the peanut butter that I had put out on the 15th was knocked off the railing. So I thought, oh great, probably a raccoon or possum. But when I looked closer, I changed my mind, because right in front of the peanut butter on the ground was a footprint. The big toe is especially visible, and beside the footprint is another impression that looks like a partial toe print. So what I think happened was that the Bigfoot stepped forward on its other foot and pivoted, reaching for the peanut butter. So you see the peanut butter was up on the railing last night, and the tape measure is where the footprint, the big footprint was. And the partial one is just in front of the tape measure. And there'll be a picture of that here in a second. But this is a little bit closer up picture. And then here is the actual footprint. The big toe, as you can see, is pretty visible right there. It would be a right foot. And this is shaded in so you can see the shape. So it was about 12 or 13 inches long. And then that, where the arrow is pointing, is where I think it stepped with its other foot and pivoted, reaching for the peanut butter. And that's shaded in so you can see it too. So I went around the house looking for more sign, and I found a branch broken up about 10 feet in a tree at the side yard. And then I found a few really large foot impressions in the grass leading away from there and towards the house. I took pictures of the best one, and it measured about 18.5 inches long. So here's a picture of that. It's hard to see, but it would be a right foot. I think the toe is visible. Um, this is the basic shape of it. But it was big, and there were other ones. It's just, really hard to see them in the grass. So other things happened back at the porch too. First, the dice. The number 1 die is turned to the 3. The number 2 die is turned to the 6. The number 3 is missing, and the number 4 is moved over to the right. The number 5 and 6 are moved, and the red one was moved just slightly. Now I found the number 3 die on the ground beside the porch, and there's no way it just fell there because it would have had to have fallen from the opposite side of the dominoes. So nope, I think somebody or something picked it up and dropped it there. See, it's right in front of the dolls. And the marbles were also messed with. Um, it's weird. The 2 purple ones are moved forward and the rest are kind of curved in towards the porch, except for the 1 brown one. The cars were also messed with. They were just, I don't know. I mean, it's enough to tell they were messing with them. February 19th. Sunday, when we were coming down the driveway from our meeting, I found a Mylar balloon over by the fence. I thought that Bigfoot might like that, so I had my husband stop so I could get it. I took it around to the woodpile and I put it between 2 logs so that it wouldn't blow away. Also, last night, I had put a new stuffed puppy on the board at the woodpile. So here's a picture of where I put the balloon and that puppy on the board. We ate our lunch and I took a nap because I had been very ill for quite a while. So when I got up from my nap at 5:44 p.m., I found that the balloon was gone and the puppy was moved up onto the woodpile behind where the balloon had been. That was awesome. It made me laugh. I don't know why they do stuff like that sometimes, but they stuck it up there near where the balloon was. On February 22nd, I was tired of being cooped up in the house because of being sick for so long, so I decided to take a walk down on the west side. I found a new glyph structure on the ground, and also in the tree above it was a hanging log. Now this was down at the edge of the field, not very far from the spring. And just last week, Jim was coming home from work, and he thinks he saw a Bigfoot standing right down here in that spot. So he saw a dark human-like figure, and he looked at it for a minute, and then he looked down to get a picture with his phone, and when he looked back up, it was gone. So this is a really interesting structure, and I'm wondering if it was that Bigfoot that made it. But as you can see, there's two parallel branches, and then there are branches laying across it, forming what looks to me like four X's. And that's the hanging log or branch up above it. So you see here that there's at least three X's, I think four, and it also makes triangles. It's kind of pretty. I also found new sticks stuck in the ground, along with other interesting stuff while I was on my walk. And if you'd like to see more of that walk, you can watch the video titled "Come Explore with Me, 3 Waterfalls and Bigfoot Sign." February 26th. Sunday, when I got up and checked the porch, I saw that the dice were moved again. The number one dice, which would be the red one and the white one, were moved forward, almost to the same position on the railing. So you see how I left them on February 25th, and then this morning, the ones were brought forward. At 9:38 a.m., I decided to put out a new wrench that I had bought for the Bigfoot since they like them so much. I bought a whole set. So you see I put it there in front of the puppy on the board. And when I got up from my nap at 5:47, the wrench was gone and the puppy was up in that spot on the log again. So, I mean, it's almost in the exact same spot that they put it the other day when they took the balloon. So the top two pictures are February 19th and the bottom ones are the 26th. Almost identical. February 27th. When I got home from work at 2:20 p.m., I had a surprise waiting for me. Last night I put the puppy back on the board like it had been for days. Well, the Bigfoot brought me a wrench, one I'd never seen before, and it wasn't one of my husband's. And they put the puppy back up in that spot again. They are so sweet and funny. So there's the wrench and the puppy back up in that spot. Wish I knew why they were doing that. It's funny. So that's 3 times now with the puppy. And that wraps it up for February. Now, next month is very exciting, so make sure you don't miss it. Thank you for watching.